Hey everyone, welcome to a new season of Titan Sports. I'm Colin Costigan.
Hello, I'm Segovia.
How's it going? I'm Francisco Molina.
And I'm Justin Rosette. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
After a tumultuous season, Angel star Shohei Ohtani underwent a season-ending elbow surgery after he suffered a torn ulnar collateral ligament in late August, effectively ending his pitching season. He continued to bat for the Angels but sustained an oblique injury.
The Dodgers expect Ohtani to return to the plate next season, but not expected to return on the pitching mound in 2025. He leads the American League in home runs with 44 and has 95 RBIs and 20 stolen bases on the mound. He had a 3.4 ERA in 23 starts, struck out 167 batters, and walked 55 batters in 132 innings pitched.
Many are concerned with Ohtani's status as a two-way player, but his agent Naz Bolello did not specify which surgery Ohtani received on his right elbow. The two-way megastar was rumored by many analysts to be the first MLB player to receive a contract worth $500 million or more.
In other baseball news, the Los Angeles Dodgers starter pitcher was arrested on felony domestic violence charges early September. The mystery around Urias is continuing as none of his teammates know where he has gone. The Dodgers have covered up Urias' mural at Dodger Stadium with a temporary tarp, and they are painting over him with several different images. It brings a sense of finality to the proceedings.
While the Mexican player is currently the subject of very serious allegations of domestic violence, the boys in blue have been enjoying themselves on the pitch lately. The Dodgers are well focused on their series against the San Francisco Giants. The Southern California versus Bay Area classic rivalry started yesterday and will continue later today, with the first pitch being thrown at 7:10 p.m.
The Los Angeles Rams start the NFL season on a high note. Despite a loss to the San Francisco 49ers, the Rams find themselves 1-1 in the season with a win over the Seahawks in Week 1. The Rams find themselves with a nice pair of young receivers as rookie sensation Puka Nacua dazzles in both games with 25 catches and 266 yards in just 2 games. The Rams needed all the help they could get on the offensive side, with their star receiver Cooper Kupp missing the first couple weeks in the NFL season with a hamstring injury.
The loss against their NFC West rival 49ers sparked some optimism as they kept the game close despite some turnovers and costly defensive mistakes. Some analysts in the preseason had the Rams projected as one of the worst teams in the NFL due to the team having one of the younger rosters in the league. Sean McVay and the Rams look to continue to build on an optimistic start to the season, with the team heading on the road to take on a struggling Cincinnati Bengals team in a Super Bowl 56 rematch on Monday Night Football.
The new man in Miami has settled, with Messi's talent being showcased as the unexpected transfer to make it to Major League Soccer. He has made his dominance well present in the States. From winning the first edition of the League's Cup and turning Inter Miami's chances in the league, Messi, aka La Pulga, has the attention not just of Latin America, but the world has attention towards Miami. This Wednesday, Inter Miami faced Toronto FC. Lionel Messi returned to Inter Miami's lineup on Wednesday night. Messi was subbed off in the 37th minute of the match, what it seems as a leg issue. Manager Tata Martino stated that his star player is battling fatigue. Martino said after the game that the Argentine star will miss Sunday's game against Orlando in the state rivalry.
I don't know about you, but I'm for sure looking forward to how the team will play against their rival without their key player. With Martino ruling out Messi's appearance for Sunday's match, it appears as though he is protecting his star player for the U.S. Open final on September 27th, which will be the biggest and most important match up to now in the club's history.
With the NBA season tipping off next month, the league's Board of Governors approved numerous rules that will go into effect next season, including changes to resting star players. The league has faced criticism on teams sitting star players during anticipated or nationally televised games. That will change with the implementation of tougher rules and punishments for resting multiple stars in regular season games. Teams may not rest more than one star player for a regular season game, while ensuring that the star players are available for more televised games. The league defines a star player as someone who made an All-Star or All-NBA team within the first 3 seasons.
If a team violates the rule for the first time, they will be fined $100,000. The fine will increase to $250,000 for a second violation, and then 1.5 to 1.25 million for a third violation. Any violations afterwards will be $1 million more than the previous violation, which will be $2.25 million if violating the rule for the fourth time. In addition, to the rest policy, teams also cannot rest star players for long periods of time unless they are sustained an injury. For example, the Lakers decided to rest LeBron for the last 12 games of the regular season. Despite him being healthy, they cannot do with the new rule changes.
All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break.
Hello, and welcome back to our roundtable discussion. We'll start off with the hottest topic in all of baseball. We know that Ohtani's out for the season. Do you guys think this will impact the contract he receives next year?
No, I do not. Yes, I do, because I think he's going to get around 470 to 480, because I think the Angels overuse them in a lot of different ways. DH roles, starting pitching. They mainly use him as a number one starter. But all those innings, all those batting attempts really killed his mojo and killed the Angels' season overall. Not only from a player's perspective, but as a manager perspective with Phil Nevin, because Phil Nevin had to rally troops around who was available to fill in Ohtani's spot.
Yeah, and really to kind of pivot off of that, like the Dodgers are obviously like one of the top teams to pursue him right now, and a lot of people are still saying that we are like the Dodgers are like going to go after him. And do you think like having this surgery kind of like will affect our pursuit like of getting him this offseason?
Yeah, I'm thinking right now it's going to be hard for any manager to look at Ohtani and want to offer him $500 million. I mean, look at his stats. Last season, the current season, 44 home runs, 95 RBIs, and only 135 games. In the last 2 years pitching, 25 wins and a combined ERA of 2.735 with the MVP 2 years ago. If he was healthy, he would be worth it. But if you're looking at a guy that's not going to be able to pitch until 2025 now, and he's looking at it, he's about to turn 30 years old in July. So do you really want to pay $500 million? Even though the impact he has, like the impact he's had on the Angels and their fans and people traveling from all over the world to see him is massive. I still think he'll get a big contract, but I don't think $500 million anymore.
Absolutely. Angels announced on August 23rd that he tore his UCL. His agent just confirmed that he will not be on that mound until 2025. However, he'll be ready to hit without restrictions opening day, but I do think that it's going to impact them in the long run. Let's take this topic of baseball to the team down the road with the Los Angeles Dodgers. We know that Julio Urias has been caught up in this controversy of domestic violence. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time that we hear about this. This is his second time around. The Dodgers have now taken the steps to cover his mural, as we had mentioned earlier in the show. Do you guys think that the Dodgers are handling the situation correctly?
Yeah, like just around the stadium, like they're already covered up his murals. Like they've done everything that they can to kind of like quickly cover up his image, which is really unfortunate because I mean, he was a big part of the franchise for since 2016. And just looking at his stats this year, he has like a 4.6 ERA and he's given up 24 homers, and that's like career high. So like that he's in like his entire career. So like he's clearly been having an off year already. And if you add it onto this, like his career in baseball is for surely over now. And it's really disappointing because it's like you mean so much to a fan base and like you have such a significance, especially like a cultural significance to the team. I mean, I enjoyed watching him pitch for so long, and now it's like you don't get to see that anymore. So it's just really unfortunate.
Yeah, for example, that's like the Trevor Bauer situation. The Dodgers signed him in the offseason a couple seasons ago, and then again, I think sexual assault or domestic violence charge on him, which he was found not guilty. I think really killed his mojo as he's dealing with 194 suspension. I know he's pitching in Japan or Korea, but I think he wants to get back to MLB. But I don't think the MLB owners will let that toxic energy in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I think in a situation like this, like you said, it's unfortunate with the what he's being accused of, domestic violence for the second time. I think the Dodgers, all they kind of had to do what they did, taking off his image around the stadium, is because you can't promote that kind of a person that has those allegations again, especially for the second time. So that's really all they could do in that situation.
Absolutely. I've been able to talk to a lot of the fan base in Dodger Stadium, and as all you know, it's a huge Hispanic fan base.
Yes.
And it couldn't have came at a worse time, especially with September being Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh, yeah.
The Dodgers had bobbleheads ready to go. They had, their PR team had to switch that up, give fans a different option.
Yeah.
It's just a shame, really. But now the question is, October's around the corner. Postseason's here. The Dodgers are known for having one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. That doesn't seem to be the case this year. How do you think his absence for the rest of the year will impact this team in the long stretch?
I think it's gonna kill him because I know the Dodgers are picking up young starters. They're moving the young starters up to the big show. But I think having that veteran presence in the pitching rotation during a postseason run will really impact them because they cannot rely on Clayton Kershaw most of the time because Kershaw's going to be in the zone. Typically, he's not very good in the postseason, but the past previous runs, he's been there, and I think it's time for a young starting pitcher to move on up and step up to the plate because a postseason run is a big responsibility.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to rely on the Dodgers themselves are gonna have to rely on their bullpen a lot more than they are used to. Because right now we have a big youth movement in our rotation,
Right.
and a lot of them aren't ready yet. Like Ryan Pepio and Emmett Sheehan, they've been good. They've been really solid for the most part, but it's really been Bobby Miller who's kind of been taking that next step, and he's kind of solidified himself. And Dave Roberts has already said he's gonna start NLDS either game 1 or game 2, so that shows the faith they have in him. But it's hard to rely on young rookies to be able to carry your team in the postseason. I mean, we saw Walker Buehler do it in 2018 in the World Series when he was the one bright spot, but it's you can't really expect to go far when you hardly have a rotation in itself. And the bullpen can't carry themselves throughout the entire postseason. They've done it through most of the season, but it's so much harder in the postseason.
Right, and here's the thing with the bullpen: who's going to be the closer? Is it going to be Brewster Gradwell or Ryan Yarbrough or Evan Phillips? That's the question mark here because we got to figure out a closer situation, and who's going to be that 7th, 8th, 9th type of pitcher in the postseason.
Absolutely. We now go on from the Mount to the football stadium. Let's talk about the Rams. We're week 3 now, but week 2 just concluded. And, a lot of people underestimated the Rams this year. The young roster, they didn't have a great season last year. They're 1-1. They came up short against the 49ers. I know you're a little happy about that. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a playoff team?
Honestly, it's too early in the season. Me being a 49er fan, we're already considered the Super Bowl favorites. I'm we're off to a hot start at just winning last night, going 3-0. But it's too early in the season, in my opinion, to predict anything. But the Rams have definitely surprised me. They put up a really strong fight. I did not expect receivers named Puka and Tutu to go as crazy as they did. But, I mean, they were constantly getting after the defense and causing problems. I mean, Matthew Stafford showed that he's still got it. A lot of people were doubting his abilities. He's still really smart and he's able to move around efficiently in the pocket. And he's been just he's honestly going to be a huge part for them too. A lot of people keep overlooking Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I believe if Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and Matthew Stafford especially can stay healthy, the Rams could be a sleeper curveball team The thing that gets me is the offensive line. They drafted Steven Alila, a fantastic draft pick, and revamped that offensive line. So that's really clicking for them, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Aaron Donald actually interacts with young superstars on the defensive side of the ball. So that's gonna be really, really interesting as the season goes on for the Rams.
Yeah, I think last year after the Rams' disappointing season after the Super Bowl year, a lot of people were expecting them, like you said earlier, to be one of the worst teams in the league this year, especially after in the offseason hearing that Matthew Stafford was having trouble connecting with the younger guys on the team. But I think after seeing them come out in week 1, it reminded us like they still have Stafford, they still have Darnold, they still have Cooper Kupp, they still have a lot of these key guys in which they used to win the Super Bowl. So I think with that being said, I think they might make it as like a last seed, like a wild card team. I think they can stay because right now they're looking good with Puka as one of their new wide receivers and Cooper Kupp coming back soon.
And
I
then
think
Tutu.
Yeah, Tutu as well. So I think they'll be able to stay afloat, and at the end of the season, I think with that Super Bowl experience, they'll be able to win some games and make it into the playoffs. So I'm gonna say they will right now.
Absolutely.
And they finally have a draft pick in 2024. Finally, after 8 seasons without a first-round draft pick, finally.
Yeah, we see this trend happen in the NFL. You win the Super Bowl, and the next year you have all this pressure on your team. You try to keep your roster as intact as possible.
The Super Bowl hangover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this year we're seeing this kind of refreshment side of the Rams. They went younger. There seems to be a lot less pressure. Nobody had these high expectations for them.
Right.
And it's clearly there. The chemistry between Stafford and Puka is there, and it's just getting started. So I'm really excited to see how far they can go. All right, let's switch it to the NBA. We now know that the NBA board has just passed a new rule for all the teams to follow that they can't rest 2 star players in the same game unless of a certain specific injuries that are prohibiting the player. And the NBA has decided that any player that is considered a star player is a player that was an all-star player or an all-NBA player within the past 3 years. Do you guys think that this is fixing the issue that a lot of fans are having with many of these star players sitting so many games out of the season?
Yes, I believe it benefits the fans' pockets because the fans pay a lot of money to see their superstars play. I know, like, from a Laker fan perspective, a lot of people want to see LeBron James or Anthony Davis, and they both usually sit out with injuries. So it puts a spotlight on the players to stay healthy and remain healthy for the rest of the season, or else they're not going to get any accolades or any awards. So I think that's a really beneficial move by the NBA and the fan base.
Yeah, I think this is a great move by the NBA, especially implementing, like you said, you have to play 65 games to be able to win awards because a lot of these guys' contracts, they have incentives that rely on playing a certain amount of games. So in order to make All-NBA and be an All-Star, you have to play at least, 65 games now? And also from a fan perspective, I think a lot of times fans will spend money to see Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard play, and then a lot of times they end up not playing, and it's like, people travel far and pay hard-earned money to watch these guys play. So I think for fans of teams like the Pelicans, like with Zion, who never plays, but then you see him in the offseason doing 360 dunks and stuff.
Yeah.
It'll definitely benefit the fans for next season.
Yeah, and thinking about what teams this is going to impact, for surely Lakers and Clippers are up there already. Like Anthony Davis with his constant injury battles and resting. Obviously the Lakers with Kawhi and PG. I think this is a great move, honestly, because you have teams like Anthony Edwards and other NBA players have said that fans are going to see you. They might have just used up all of their money for the week or whatever they got paid that week just to go see you, and you sit, and because you're resting, it's like you got to the NBA to compete at a high level, not so you could sit on the bench. And I feel like that's a really good move, and I'm glad Adam Silver and the rest of them kind of took action on it because it needed to be addressed.
Also, it's gonna help the broadcasters inside the NBA, a lot less criticism from Barkley, Kenny, Shaq, and EJ, because most of those guys are veteran guys. They want to see players play through injury and excel and perform well. So it's going to be a lot more controversy between the commentators, broadcasters, and players and fans.
Yeah, you
all
won't be having
together.
your street clothes Davis.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
street clothes Davis.
Going off of a point you said, Adam Silver and the league have decided to go in this direction. I think this is a new direction that we're seeing of Adam Silver. We know him as this more laid-back commissioner, right? We know David Stern was a lot more like firm in the
goal,
way
yeah.
he handled the situation with the league. This is the first time I believe that we're seeing this new side of him in which he's really putting pressure on the players to make sure that they perform every day. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we have a lot more live national games with athletes playing, with star athletes playing. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the college football. We're in week 4 now, and the talk of the town has been Boulder, Colorado.
Yep.
Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, ESPN was there, Fox Sports. Now, every major network has been at that university, and we're only in week 4. Do you guys believe the hype of what Colorado's doing, or do you think that this week against a nationally ranked Oregon in Eugene, Oregon, is going to show that we maybe have overemphasized in the turnaround that he's had this year?
I don't think it is, because with that Colorado State University game, he brought in $18 million to the city of Boulder, and a lot of ticket sales went up. But yeah, I think they're gonna have quite a challenge going up to Eugene, and then after Eugene, the highly anticipated Pac-12 possibly championship game between Caleb Williams and the Trojans versus Shedeur Sanders and the Buffaloes is really going to be a key matchup next week for them to actually succeed and actually put a nail in the coffin for the naysayers.
All right, so I want to hear your final thought. Who do you got winning? You got Oregon or you got Colorado this Saturday?
I think it'll be a close game. I think Oregon's going to win.
What about you? Who do you got?
I'm taking Colorado on this one.
Colorado. I'm all in with Coach Prime.
The same thing too, but we'll see about next week with USC.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, Titans, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
Thank you. I'm Noah Segovia.
It's been a pleasure. I'm Francisco Molina.
And I'm Justin Rosette. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports.